What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves bounced back against the Sacramento Kings, pulled off a win, led by Anthony Edwards, of course, and Julius Randle. Julius Randle was very impressive this game. 35 minutes, 33 points. He had 22 points at halftime. 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Shot 13 of 17 from the floor, 5 of 6 from 3. Emphasizing that for a purpose. Only 3 turnovers, and really just had a very impressive game out there. A very tight game, and Minnesota was able to close it out down the stretch on the road, again, against the Sacramento Kings. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, and in particular Julius Randle, is because I've been very critical of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and particularly Julius Randle and his fit alongside the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I always want to be fair. And Julius Randle played exactly what I've expressed he needs to play in order for this to work with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I don't mean in the sense of him scoring 33 points. I'm not expecting him to come out and average 33 a game. No, but he does need to be in that 20, 25 range, somewhere in there, 22 maybe. I do think consistently and regularly, but more than that, it's more so his floor stretching ability, right? Again, 5 of 6 from 3, not expecting that. I'm not expecting him to basically shoot 80% from 3-point, or 82%, whatever it is, from 3-point range. I don't expect anything along those lines, but he needs to be at least respectable, to where bare minimum, you got to be looking at him 37%, right? Somewhere in that range. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, he could do that. Well, he's only done that once his entire career. And he shot 41.1% that year, and that was 2020-2021 season on 5.5 attempts. The next best season he's had was 34.4% on 2.7 attempts. The highest volume season was 2022-2023, in which he took 8.3 attempts and shot 34.3%, which was his third best clip. Now, if he's shooting basically low 30s, that's where I think Minnesota is going to have some real trouble. Right? Julius Randle is an excellent player. Gives you nearly a triple-double, right? I mean, the guy's 20, anywhere from like a 16 to 20 point a game guy. Get you anywhere from 8 to 10 rebounds a game, and get you a handful of steals or a handful of assists, plus, half a steal, half a block, right? He can do a little bit of everything out on the basketball court. His ability to go coast to coast, full 94 feet, grabbing rebounds and just taking off, especially with a team like Minnesota who have guys like Anthony Edwards. There is a version of this Minnesota team that is special. There is a version of this Minnesota team that is better than what it was with Karl Anthony Towns. Problem is, I think it's more likely that this team is worse than better. Now, again, if Minnesota prove me wrong and they can ball out and dominate, that would be a great thing to see, right? Minnesota's never won an NBA championship. So if they could finally get over that hump, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I should rephrase it. The Timberwolves never won an NBA championship. Obviously, the Minneapolis Lakers. But Timberwolves themselves haven't been able to pull one out. And it would be nice to, it's always great to see an organization finally get over that hump. And Julius Randle could be a player that helps them get there. I do worry about the lack of size now with Julius Randle compared to Karl Anthony Towns. I know people think, oh, yeah, but they're more physical, they're more this. Yeah, but they're also, again, smaller. And one of the advantages that they had, and one of the reasons why they were so tough to beat, was the 2 7-footers, the 2 bigs, especially a guy like Karl Anthony Towns who could shoot 40% from 3. And then you add in the fact that, like you saw in the Laker game, for example, right? Rudy Gobert goes to the bench, and the Lakers just dominated Minnesota on the glass. It was embarrassing. And that's a big issue because, again, Naz Reid, as good as he is, especially against the Lakers, that guy has a history against the Lakers, but as good as Naz Reid is, and he was very good in this game too, by the way, he gave 19 points. He was actually the third leading scorer with 13 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 6 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 7 from 3, and only had 2 turnovers. But he's 6'9", right? Now you have a 6'8" Julius Randle, and it's just that's my concern is, like, can they match up against some of the bigger sizable teams, like even Denver? One of the reasons they were able to give Denver some trouble was because you had Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, who could defend Jokic. And Karl Anthony Towns actually defended Jokic better than what Rudy Gobert did. And so, this team is incredibly talented, incredibly deep. I mean, this team is deep. I mean, there's an argument. So they've been running basically 9 guys. You've had DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Keel Alexander, Walker, and then Joe Ingles have kind of been the 4 that have came out off the bench. But, Garza was really good for them in the playoffs or in the preseason. Rob Dillingham, does he ever get some run? Does he ever get some opportunity? There may even be an argument to put Dante DiVincenzo into the starting lineup in place of Mike Conley at some point. But we'll kind of see how this plays out. I worry about the floor spacing. Is my problem. Because, again, Jaden McDaniels, once again, shot poorly from 3. And he's not this lights-out, knockdown three-point shooter. Right? Jaden McDaniels isn't this like, let me go shoot 40% from three-point range on a nightly basis. Right? He's a guy that, he has his moments. He has his games. But, he's had one season in which he shot just a hair under 40%. That was the 2022-2023 season where he shot 39.8% on 3.4 attempts. So far this year, he is shooting 0% on 3 attempts. And he's shooting 33.7% last year on 3.5 attempts. And then the 2 years previous to that, almost 40%, was 31.7% on 3.6 and then 36.4% on 3.1 attempts. So again, this is a guy that for his career is shooting 35% from three-point range. It's not great. And then Julius Randle shooting, so if Jaden McDaniels is shooting low 30s, and then you have Julius Randle shooting low 30s, and then Mike Conley, he's really been struggling to shoot the 3 ball also. It's just, can you get enough consistency shooting the 3 ball to compete with some of these top teams, right? Can you do enough? Can you be also good enough defensively? Like, there's just a lot of questions, right? A lot of questions with this. Mike Conley's only made 1 3? He's basically averaging, again, just basically 0.0%. He's made 2. He's 2 of 12 so far, so he's like 10%. Again, if these guys are all shooting this poorly and Rudy Gobert doesn't stretch the floor, like, what do you do? And you've seen it cause Anthony Edwards a bit of trouble because now Anthony Edwards, he has to now become more of a jump shooter. Right now, Anthony Edwards has to rely on his shooting ability, which, look, don't get me wrong, he can do it, but this is 2 games in a row where more than half of his attempts were from 3. He shot 15 threes on 24 attempts in this previous game. And then against the Lakers, he shot 13 attempts. So he's 10 of 28 from three-point range? And in that previous game, he shot 25 total attempts from the field. So again, more than half of his total shots have been from 3. And he's one of, if not the best rim pressure, not just guard, but player in the league. And, his ability to just apply so much pressure and get downhill, it's tough. It's tough to justify him shooting 15 to 23s a game, right? Like, even if he shoots 40%, right? Like, you want him to be able to do what he does best. And how much are they going to be able to allow him to do that with this squad? Now, if you get this version of Julius Randle that you saw today, again, not saying he has to shoot 80% from three-point range, but, say 38%, 40% from three. If you can get that version of Julius Randle, then I think that this team is headed in the right direction. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my concerns? Do you disagree with my concerns? Are you kind of mixed in the middle with my concerns? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.